Math grade 6. Today we will start in chapter 9 geometry. The first lesson, area of parallelogram. Today we have area of parallelogram. Now show with me this video.
Here's another type of quadrilateral. Let's name it ABCD. In this quadrilateral, both pairs of opposite sides are parallel. The first pair of opposite sides is AB and DC. We can see that AB is parallel to DC. We use two arrows in the same direction to show that the sides are parallel. The second pair of opposite sides is AD and BC. We can also see that AD is parallel to BC. So we draw arrows like this. Such quadrilaterals are called parallelograms. Both pairs of opposite sides are parallel. This was the basic property of a parallelogram. In a parallelogram, the opposite sides are also equal. This side will be equal to this side. We can say that AB is equal to DC. This side will be equal to this side. AD is equal to BC. And guess what? In a parallelogram, the opposite angles are also equal. Opposite angles are angles which do not have a common side. This angle will be equal to this angle. Angle DAB is equal to angle DCB. And this angle will be equal to this angle. Angle ABC is equal to angle ADC. Remember, this is the basic property of a parallelogram. The opposite sides as well as the opposite angles are equal. Let's see a special case of a parallelogram. In this parallelogram, all the sides are equal to each other. This is a rhombus. So a rhombus is a parallelogram with all its sides equal. It will have all the properties of a parallelogram as well as this additional property that all its sides will be equal. There is another special case of a parallelogram. Let me draw it on a new page. Remember, the opposite sides have to be parallel. It is a quadrilateral drawn like this. The opposite sides of this quadrilateral are parallel, so it is a parallelogram. Let's name the quadrilateral ABCD. Why is it special? All the angles in the quadrilaterals are right angles. This special case of parallelogram is called a rectangle. This is how a rectangle can be defined. It is a parallelogram with all angles being right angles. Just like in a parallelogram, the opposite sides of a rectangle are equal. This side will be equal to this side, and this side will be equal to this one. Now it gets even more interesting. This quadrilateral is a special case of a rectangle. Let's call it PQRS. Like the rectangle, all its angles are right angles, but it has an additional property. All its sides are equal to each other. This type of quadrilateral is called a square. Basically, it is a rectangle with all its sides equal. The rectangle is the special case of the parallelogram, and this square is a special case of a rectangle. But wait, in a square, the opposite sides are parallel, so it is a parallelogram. All its sides are also equal, so it's also a rhombus. Again, what is a rhombus? It is a quadrilateral with all its sides equal and opposite sides parallel to each other. But how is the square different from a normal rhombus? It is a rhombus in which all angles are right angles. Next, we will review all the types of quadrilaterals and how they are related to each other.
So today we have area of parallelograms. We want to learn today how to find the area of parallelograms. How to find the area of parallelograms. Show with me this video.
In these problems, we are calculating the areas of parallelograms. And a parallelogram is a creature like this. It's a four-sided shape, and it's got two sets of parallel sides that are the same length. So the top and the bottom, they're parallel to each other, and they're the same length. You can see here, 58 and 58. And the sides here, the left and right sides, are parallel to each other and also the same length, in this case, 51. It's sort of like a rectangle that's been a little slanted or squished. Actually, a rectangle is a type of parallelogram. It's a special parallelogram that has all the angles 90 degrees. If this was a rectangle, figuring out the area would be pretty easy. We'd just multiply the length times the width. When you got this slanted, squished kind of creature, you can't really do that. So the formula here is actually the base, which in a rectangle we would usually call the length, times the height. And the height here is not this side. It's actually a line dropped from the corner and making a 90-degree angle with the opposite side. So you'll see that dashed line drawn in here. That's the height of the parallelogram. But once you've got the base and the height, you're good to go. You simply multiply those two. So this one is 58 times 44. And if you punch that in your calculator, you should get 2,552. Now, they told us the dimensions were in inches here, but this is area, so remember this is going to be square inches when we get the answer for area. All right, let's look at another one. This one says, find the area of the parallelogram. Dimensions are in centimeters, and the area equals the base times the height. And down here, I don't see a measurement for the base, but I know it's the same as the top because the top and bottom are parallel and the same length. So this is 90. So our base is 90, and our height is this dashed line dropped here from the corner down to the opposite side at a right angle, and that's 71. So 90 times 71, and that should be 6,390, and this was centimeters, so that'll be square centimeters when we get area. All right, let's try one more. This one says find the area of the parallelogram, dimensions are in centimeters, and this one looks a little bit different. We've got our base here, it's 20. So the area equals 20 times the height, and then we've got a dashed line here, but it's way outside the parallelogram. There's another dashed line here. Well, don't get confused by that. This dashed line right here with the 26 on it is a height of this parallelogram, and if you want to convince yourself of that, you could move this thing over and it would fit exactly in there. So those two lines are really the same. So this is going to be the base, which is 20, times the height, which is 26. And I think you get 520 when you calculate that, and this is centimeters, so centimeters squared. So that's how to find the area of a parallelogram. My name is Larry. I'm a teacher at EdVisions off campus. It's an online project-based school in Minnesota. If you're interested, you can find it.
So our lesson today, how to find the area of parallelogram. As you know, parallelogram is a quadrilateral. Quadrilateral means any polygon has four sides. Any polygon has four sides. But the parallelogram, each of the two opposite sides are equal and parallel, are equal and parallel. So this is the parallelogram. How to find now the area? How to find the area? What's the meaning of a polygon? A polygon is a closed figure formed by three or more straight lines, like Here we have triangle. Triangle is a polygon. Here we have polygon, has many sides. Here we have polygon, has 4 sides. Here we have polygon, has 4 sides. And here we have polygon, has 4 sides. This is the meaning of polygon. The polygon starts from 3 sides, like the triangle, This is the meaning of polygon. Now, what is the meaning of parallelogram? Is a quadrilateral with opposite sides the same length. This figure is parallelogram. As you see here, we have 4 sides. So parallelogram is a quadrilateral because has 4 sides. Each two opposite sides are equal and parallel, like this side and this side, and this side and this side. The rhombus is a special case from the parallelogram. It's a parallelogram with 4 equal sides. So this is the rhombus. Rhombus is parallelogram, but we have all sides are equal. All sides are equal. This side equal this side equal this side equal this side. Now watch with me this video.
Finding the area of a parallelogram. This is a parallelogram, so is this. A parallelogram is a quadrilateral with both pairs of opposite sides parallel. It looks a bit like a rectangle that's being nudged over. How can we find the area of a parallelogram? Well, don't be put off by the sloping sides, because here's a way of thinking that's going to help you. If I cut a triangle off this side and move it over to this side, we get a form that is so much easier to work with. I didn't take anything away. The entire area of the shape is still there. I just rearranged it to form a rectangle. And you know how to find the area of a rectangle, length times width. But for a parallelogram, we say the area is base times height. When we have to find the area of a parallelogram, we think of it like a rectangle, like I just showed you. A rectangle has right-angled corners, so we have to form a right angle. We find the base, here it's 8 centimetres, and then we run a perpendicular line off the base to get the height. The height forms a right angle with the base, just like the right-angled corners of a rectangle. That is a key point to remember. So here's our height. It's 4 centimetres. Now we have measurements on 2 sides that meet at a right angle, so we're ready to go. The area of a parallelogram is base times height. So 8 times 4 is 32 centimetres squared. Never forget units of measurement squared. What about this parallelogram? Here's the base, 6 metres. Here's the height, 9 metres. It doesn't matter where the height line is shown. It's always the same height because these two lines are parallel, the same distance apart. Therefore, the height will be the same. The height is at right angles to the base, and that's all that counts. So, base times height. 6 times 9 is 54 metres squared. What if the parallelogram looks like this? This time the base measurement is on the side and the height seems to be going horizontally. What's up with that? Guess what? It doesn't matter. As long as you are forming a right angle with the base and a height, you're good to go. This is the same as this. It's just an image that has been rotated. Don't let it stump you. Okay, so our base measures 5 centimetres and our height is 3 centimetres. Area is base times height, so 5 times 3 is 15 centimetres squared. Right, Now you're primed and ready, you need to practice some for yourself. Next time, we'll look at the ways parallelogram area problems can trip up students. It will help you work smarter.
So this is the meaning, how to find the area of parallelogram, how to find the area of parallelogram. Now we have example number 1. The question here, find the area, find the area. As you see here, we have parallelogram, Directly determine the height and the base. This is the height, this is the height. Height equal 8 inch, and this is the base, equal 6 inch. Now, what is the rule of the area of parallelogram? The area equal base times height, base times height, b times h. Now, the value of b equal 6, and the value of h equal 8. Now, 6 times 8 equal 48, 48. And the unit here, inch squared, inch exponent 2, I can read it inch squared. So the area, we will measure the area by squared, Example 2, find the area. Here we have, as you see here, we have parallelogram. The first step, determine the height and the base. This is the base, 8 centimeter, and this is the height, 3 centimeter. Then write the rule of the area of parallelogram. Area equal base times height, b times h. The value of b, 8. So write here 8. Multiply by the value of h. The value of h will be 3. So 8 times 3 equal 24 centimeter squared. Now watch with me this video.
Let me give you some advice. The process of doing your second...
In this video, we're going to talk about how to find the area of a parallelogram. So let's say this side is 30 and the height or the altitude is 15, and this side is 20. Find the area of this parallelogram. All you need to find the area of a parallelogram is the length of the base and the height, also known as the altitude. So the area is simply base times height. In this example, the base is 30 and the height is 15. So it's just 30 times 15. 30 times 15 is about 450. And so that's the area for this example. Let's work on some more examples. Find the area of this particular parallelogram. So it has a base of 20 and a height of 25. So the area is simply base times height, 20 times 25. And that's going to be 500. So it's 500 square units. And that's basically all you need to do to find the area of a parallelogram. Let's work on one more example. So let's say that this side is 11, these two sides are 13, and let's say that this side here is 6. Find the area of the parallelogram. what we need to do is we need to find the height. Now, if this side is 11, then this side must also be 11. 11 minus 6 is 5. So this section is 5. Now let's focus on the right triangle that we see here. This side is 5, this side is 13. We need to find the missing side. So we can use the Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. Let's say a is 5, b is the height, and c is 13. 5 squared is 25. 13 times 13 is 169. 169 minus 25 is 144. So now let's take the square root of both sides. The square root of 144 is 12. So now we have the height. So now we can find the area of the parallelogram. It's base times height. So we have a base of 11 and a height of 12. So it's 11 times 12, which is 132. So this is the answer.
Example 3, find the area. This figure is parallelogram. As you see, this is the base, 4 centimeter, and this is the height, 16 meter. The base 4 meter and the height 16 meter. How to find the area? The rule of the area, base times height. The value of base here 4. So put here 4. Multiply by the value of h will be 16. Now 4 times 16 will be 64. And the unit meter squared. Example 4, find the area. As you see here, we have parallelogram. This is the base, 20 feet, and this is the height, 6 feet. So the first step, write the rule. Area equal base times height. The base equal 20 and the height equal 6. 20 times 6 will be 120. ft squared. Example 5, find the base. Here the opposite. Here we have the area. As you see here, area equal 96 yards squared. And we have the height. The height will be here 8 yards. How to solve the base? The first step, write the rule of the area. A equal base times height. Then substitute. Put the value of A and the value of H. The value of A, 96. So put here 96. The B variable, I don't know the value. I want to solve the value of B. The height equal 8. Now we have here equation. How to solve this equation? Try to divide the two sides by the coefficient. The coefficient here will be 8. So 96 divided by 8 and b times 8 divided by 8. Now b times 8 divided by 8 will be b. So put here b equal 96 divided by 8. 96 divided by 8 equal 12. And the unit here yard, because we have side, not area. Because here we have side, yard. Example 6, find the height. Here we have the area. Area equal 48 meters squared. And the missing value, height. We want to solve the value of the height. And we have the base. The base here P equals 6 meter. The first step, write the rule of the area of parallelogram. A equal P times H. The area here 48. So write here 48. And the base 6. Write here 6. And H here variable, I don't know the value. I want to solve the value of H. So you can now solve this equation. How to solve this equation? Try to divide the two sides here by the coefficient y6. So 6h divided by 6 will be h, and 48 divided by 6 will be 8. And the unit here meter, because the height is side, not area. Just area, the unit of area squared. Just the unit of area squared. But the side meter. The side meter. Here we have some videos. When you have free time, you can watch it, these videos. And this is our lesson today. Now, who has a question?
مستر أنا شوي ما فهمت.
Okay. Who has a question now? So, what is the name of our lesson today? What is the name of our lesson today?
Area of
Great. Area of parallelogram. Area of parallelogram. So today we learned how. Okay. Today we learned how to find the area of parallelogram. طيب. See with me now.
Hello, this is Mrs. Workman. Find the height of the parallelogram. We notice that we're given the area of the parallelogram as 28 square inches, and we're also given the base of the parallelogram, 7 inches. We're interested in finding the height, and that would be this perpendicular distance. That would be h, or the height. To do this, we're going to remember that the area formula for a parallelogram is area equals base times height. There are 3 variables here. We can replace area with the 28 square inches. We can replace b for base with the 7 inches. And that just leaves us with the variable h for height. In order to solve this resulting equation, we're going to divide both sides by 7. 7 divided by 7 is 1, so there's our 1h. 28 divided by 7 is 4. Now remember, 28 was inches squared, and 7 was inches, so let me write that over here, inches squared. And inches, and so these units divide each other out, which leaves us with 4 inches as the height of this parallelogram.
Hi, this is Mr. Rutherford. In this problem, we will learn to find areas of parallelograms. Find the area of the parallelogram. First, it's important to indicate that the area of a parallelogram, which I'll use A as area, is equal to our base, or B, times the height, or H. So let's take a look at our parallelogram here. Notice that first we have a base of 14.5 inches, and we have a height of 8.6 inches. Now let's estimate this value first. So I'm going to use, instead of 8.6, let's use 10 inches instead. And for 14.5 inches, we'll use 15. Because we can easily multiply these two and estimate our area. So our area will be approximately equal to our base, which is 15, estimated, times 10. So we'll have an area approximately equal to 150, and this will be square inches. So now let's find the exact area of this parallelogram using the values given. 14.5 inches as our base and 8.6 inches as our height. And we'll compare that to our estimated answer of 150 square inches. So we're still using the same formula. So this time we'll have area A equals our base, which is 14.5, multiplied by our height of 8.6. In multiplying these two, we get 124.7, and our units will be square inches. So the area of this parallelogram is 124.7 square inches.
This is Mr. Hardesty. In our next problem, we'll use the grid to help us calculate area. Find the area of the parallelogram. We know that the area formula for a parallelogram is base times height. By using the grid, we can find the area once we find the measure of the base and the measure of the height. The base is 1, 2, 3 units. So we'll put 3 in for B. The height, we will count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the height is 6. Remember, we can always find the height where we see the right angle. The height must be that perpendicular distance between the bases. 3 times 6 is 18. And since we're dealing with area, we should label that as square units. So our area is 18 square units.
Okay, in this example, as you see here, we have coordinate. Inside the coordinate, we have parallelogram. But I don't know the numbers, the value of sides, the value of sides. How to know the value of sides? This is the base. Count the small squares. 1, 2, 3. So here we have 3 squares. So the base will be what? Will be 3. And the height, count how many squares we have in the height. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So put here 6. Now you can solve. A equal 3 times 6 will be 18. Unit squares. Unit squares. This is our lesson today. Who has a question now? Who has a question?
Not me.
Right. What is the name of our lesson today? What we learned today?
Area of parallelogram.
Area of parallelogram. Great. We learned how to find the area. So as you know, the formula, the rule solve the area of parallelogram. Area equal base times height. Base times. Okay.
مستر
Yes.
مرة ثانية شو اسم هذا الدرس؟
The area of parallelogram. Parallelogram.
The area of parallelogram.
The first lesson in chapter 9, geometry. Right. Now let us to take the attendance now. اليازيا here.
هي مستر موجودة.
بيكا.
Yes.
روضة.
Yes.
سارة.
Yes.
سلمى. سلمى. absent. طيب. عائشة. عائشة.
Absent.
Fatima,
Yes. Here.
Layan,
مستر ليان. مستر
yes,
ليان
Layan?
أصلا ما جت حصة الإنجليش بعد.
Absent. Okay.
إيه.
So this is our lesson today. Try to remove this presentation and try to review this presentation and try to review the examples inside. This is very easy. Just must to know what the meaning of the base, what the meaning of the height, and memorize the rule, the formula, how to solve the area of any parallelogram. Just write the formula A equal base times height. Then substitute, put the value of each variable, then you can solve the area. So this is our lesson today. Who has any question now?
I don't have any question.
Is it clear for all?
Yes, it is. Yes, Mr.
Right. What is the formula of the parallelogram? What is the formula of the parallelogram? How to solve the area of parallelogram? What is the formula?
Base times length, base times height.
Base times height. A equal base times height. Excellent. A equal base times height. Right. What is the unit of the area? Is it unit or unit squared?
Unit.
Unit square.
The area, we measure the area by unit squared. Unit squared. We measure the side by unit. So what is the unit of the height? What is the unit of the height? Just unit. What is the unit of the base? Just unit. But the unit of the area will be what? Unit squared. This is the difference between the unit of area and the unit of the side and the unit of the side. And as you see in the examples, if we have the value of area and if we have the value of base, I can solve the value of h. And the opposite, if we have the value of area and the value of height, I can solve the value of the base. This is the meaning of the area of the parallelogram. This is our lesson today. Thank you for your listening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.